In this final video, we're going to talk about arrays of records. What is an array? An array is a set of values of the same data type, including the data types that we can create. So if we were to look at these 6 student records here, this is a record, this is a record, each one of these is an individual record. I can either declare 6 variables for student records S1, S2 through S6, or I can define an array. Okay? In this case, we're going to say the array is called class. It has 6 records. I can declare space for 6 records by this statement here. Or I can initialize it to be exactly what we see here by this set of initializations. Oops. Okay, notice that this is a little extra here. It doesn't go here. All right. So what do we have? We have an array. How do we know we have an array? This bracer means I have a multi-valued entity that I'm initializing. This is the open brace, close brace for the whole thing. What is each row? Each row is defined by a data type that consists of multiple values of different types. How do we specify multiple values? Always as a set of values. So many of you might say this looks like the same way you would do it if it was a two-dimensional array. You would say, I need a list for the first row, comma, a list for the second row, comma, a list for the third row, and so forth. Okay? So we see how to do that. And let's talk a little bit more about what you have when you have this array. All right? So notice that in yellow we have circled a specific the year field of a specific record. Which record is this? If this is in an array, then the subscript is a 1. So class sub 1 is actually the whole row. What's the data type of class sub 1? It's student. Well, if it's student, then it has fields. It has 5 fields. How do I access the year field? Once I locate the record, class sub 1, I can say dot field. What is this? This is the first name of the 4th record. So how do I identify the 4th record? It's class sub 3. That gives me a whole student. Now I can pick a field by applying the dot. Notice that we use the subscript to identify which record we're talking about. Then we use the dot to pick the field. All right. Now let's take a look at some code we have in here. And what do we have here? Okay. We are going to show you that instead of using 3 student variables, we can use one array called S. How do I read data in for the 3 students? Well, I must read the year, the last name, first name, average, and grade for every student. So I have a loop. What's the purpose of K? K gives me the subscript for the student record that I want to use. I want to use the first record, first time, second record, and so on. All right. How do I calculate the average of the averages? Well, I take the average of the first student. What's the first student? S sub 0. Dot average is the average field, and so on. All right? So we're going to run this and see what we get. In this case, we're only producing one output, so it won't be too interesting. So we run that, we just get the value out. How many notice that in this code I've kind of done the same thing 2 different ways? Have I? No. Okay, good. Now the next code I want to show you is using functions. So let's do that. Let's look at the code real fast. In the code, what have we added? Let's see what we have here. I'm sorry. So here are our functions. We have a function that will read a student. You've seen that before, one that will show a student. This function is the only one that's really different. Is when we compute the average of 3 students, we are passing it the whole student array instead of alright. So what do we have to do? When I want to read the data for the 3 students, I will say read the data. Read the data for student sub k. 0 is the first one, 1 is the second, and so forth. Alright. Notice that what is S sub k? Let's look at it a little more carefully. What is student F here? Student F is where? Is an input file stream. It's an input file stream. Let's look at this function. Read data. It requires what kind of a stream? It requires an input stream. So an input file stream matches the data type. What's the second type that we must pass? We must pass it a student record. The data type is student. So let's take a look. What is S sub k? Well, what is S? S is a student array. S by itself means all of them. S sub k means one of them. Which ones? Well, the first one the first time, and then so on. Right. So it looks like we have the data types right. Let's see what happens when we run this. When we run this, we will get the output from the program showing that the calls that we have made to read student and show student are working properly. Okay, with that, we're going to conclude our treatment of